Hey, welcome back, gamers. World's kind of been on fire lately, but hope you're still doing alright regardless. As you might have noticed, switching back full time to the Ironman this time around. Big news is that anniversary event has begun, I think like 2 weeks ago since I'm talking from now. And the potential net gain, emphasis on potential, is kind of overwhelming when we factor in like chaos and white scrolls from those anniversary boxes. I think I'd be a fool to not grind them on Ironman. And it's a time of plenty all around. You know, pyro equipments, certain blue tag pyros have a 1 bill plus starting bid at auction. There's valuable 200 mil, 100% event scrolls, rare NX chairs, best in slot Ironman pendant, which is the maple scarf, and an event earring that is like 15 accuracy and 2 all stat. And finally the magic treasure map, which is unironically my favorite item in the entire game. Player count is very high. Maybe we could divide this number by 3 to get the true player count because of mules. A lot of players coming back this time of year. I actually had issues downloading the patch and the servers crashed once or twice on me just because of, I guess, traffic. Best event ever, and congratulations to the devs on their 12th year with their game. I don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, but this iteration of MapleStory that I'm playing feels cleaner and is therefore better to me than GMS, from just my opinion. Maybe it's like a new age cheat tech advancements, but the oversight they exert on this many players has to take a lot of labor, and they do it because they love the game, I feel like, because a lot of them are unpaid, so they're not really greed driven. I guess sure, at times they've been less than perfect and we might get pissed off at them sometimes, but I mean, come on. None of that really matters on somebody's birthday you've been invited to. Alright, so players are very incensed right now and they're grinding at Ironman level intensities. They're matching my level. We've got the same idea. Every box, cake, or treat could be a big roll, so that's a lot of dopamine and kind of keeps us on edge, at least for me, I think. But yeah, area boss grinding is kind of like a death sentence, or it feels like it in a way, even though all around us is very colorful and bright graphically. I feel like I'm in a really humid and crowded gold mine, digging hard in sync with everyone else. I'm going to try not to exaggerate the numbers here, so I'm just going to throw out a range here, and I think I want to say it came out to 12 to 15 boxes and enough NX for a 70 Ticket Gach run per 12-hour cycle of boss hunting, assuming I get lucky and have Monopoly on every respawn cycle. Feeling the burn big time because previous sources say 100 boxes per white scroll chaos on average, and it's become a slog when I'm like 50 boxes out for my last jackpot, because that 12-hour commitment could either turn into a slam dunk or just be a complete dud and I have to redo it. So we're kind of in the mines, boys. I mean, we struck some gold nuggets along the way too. Got some events overall strength, int, earring decks, 1 chaos, like 300k NX, 8 tokens in around 5 days. So I think that'll open up like a couple brief of major scrolling sessions later on with the skis and scarf once we actually farm the coins. I recall what I said about area bossing in excess and how overdoing it could be an inconsiderate thing to other players, but I'm doing it again because A, I'll be kind of a fool to not capitalize on the boxes as an Ironman. I might be able to open hundreds as long as I can stay consistent and not burn myself out like I just did. And B, it's actively being done already by like a small land militia of high intensity hunters that also have soul grips on timers, especially when they have the head start advantage on their day's initial spawn timers. I think they got a technique, along with me, for the flow and the small things we do to misdirect and try to beat other people to bosses. You know, just various means of doing that. Sometimes that 1 second can make a difference between getting map ownership or, you know, having to give up the boss. I've got a clip later on that kind of played out exactly like that, where I cancel an attack pot for stoppers. But anyways, I only pull these tricks out if I'm in the mood to, and I'm looking to turn up the heat, you know, on everyone. And this is it, pretty much the means I use to sustain a compulsory CGS grind, just to compensate for Zerk 20 damage. It's been 4 white scrolls total so far. It'll trickle in if I can just psychologically endure the long droughts for tickets. I think we're at like 300, almost 400 now. No white scroll. I've said before that I'd rather not be playing the game than if I'm just going to be holding boss cycles on repeat, because it's not really gameplay as much as it is forcing the final min-max grind to me. Even normal players have it slightly better than us because they have all the group daily content to do, which is way more fun, and they also get paid out in splits. So, I'm kind of forced to do this because Zerk 3 doesn't happen without horntails occurring, by how the existing rules are, which we'll talk about in great detail later. I think I've heard some say that they believe true dark HT solos are possible. I think maybe in the 1 in a million, you know, luck chance you survive all the seduces. I just say impossible in Zerk 20. I've theory crafted, you know, arm rush or tail rush hypotheticals. I just don't think it's ever going to be possible in the history of version 83. Unless it actually can be. I'm 99% sure though. So I'm stuck in the weeds at Toad now because it hits extremely hard, up to 15.5k. So with Achilles 30, I would need to hover at a minimum of 13k HP to even survive. Currently I need to be at 12k HP or below to Zerk at rank 20, which means I would need to research like a perfect HP pot to manually, you know, potion right before the moment I see the attack animation. And I'm actually flattered if you think I'm good enough to do that for hours on end, because I can't even consistently Zerk a Neko from my skill issue. I also don't have enough inventory space to non-Zerk something that hits so hard. It would be at least 5 hours, basing it on my correct DPM at like 500 mil HP in 90 minutes, give or take. Darks can do Zerking challenges like with Shallow Boss or Royal Guard, as true accomplishments. But that takes way more skill on the class than what I currently possess. Plus, I've never in my life seen a Zerk 20 challenge. It just sounds stupid. Because Toad will not happen as Zerk 20, and Neo Tokyo won't either by extension. I could leave after getting the coin purse in Toad Oil, but as I said before, I'm not gonna, kill body 1 and part of the Toad without the intention of finishing, the entire fight. That would just be ridiculous. Because it solves absolutely nothing in terms of survivability. Like, I would get past Bergamot and then immediately get annihilated the very next boss, which is V1, from their 15k damage reflex because that damage source doesn't trigger Achilles. It's a bad look. I had absolutely nothing to motivate me, and this grind that you're seeing was kind of just fueled all by frustration, which is just kind of no way to be playing the game. And, playing on Zerk 20 up until level 168 is just so asinine. I would have permanently left the guild, plus the game mode, if it weren't for a guildie I was talking to. Kind of just held me back from doing something rash, because this would have just flat out actually looked like a rage quit if I had, left. Like I said, it's a bad look to rage quit. I had many retakes because the older commentaries I made during the days that I was really tilted were just unusable. I'm not going to use them. Because I was just genuinely furious by our inability to form a weekly group HTs. I think it's the 4th one in a row. I just couldn't wrap my head around why I can't just join a pickup group after it's been so long. When I later learned we allow event PQs, which is the antithesis of Ironman because the reward quality isn't even that great to warrant its own rule, in my opinion. Only a 1.2 times EXP coupon and like event exchange currency at the very end, so it's a good and a bad thing. Because if it had drop also, that would make me want to play hard for 30 days. And that would be bad because I'm kind of at the perfect position to take a little break, get really fresh, so I could be excited to fully take on Neo Tokyo, my favorite area. The 1.2 times drop saved our entire playthrough by cutting down the thousand grinds from 40 hours to like 9 hours per spear. So it's overpowered, the devs know that. I hope I didn't blow the whistle on it. I can play light if it's bonus experience only, still do a couple boss dailies with it, so that'll be the good part for me. Guess I just kind of argued both sides there since it's nothing long-term compared to HT exclusives. So I just kind of assumed it was obviously black and white and thought I knew, so someone had to just tell me. Learning about this legality later is the big contributing reason for that level of frustration at that time before I spoke out, and eventually it started a whole rule change discussion and process. So the discussion later on about this will probably be the most decisive moment in the series to date, which might not reflect by how boring it might be. So fair warning that it's going to be long-winded in our discussion. Just prefer to be thorough because I'm anticipating on some degree of backlash from anybody that might have invested a lot in the series and the rules. Because I'm very aware that this deviates, outside the norm, and this isn't even Ironman by my standards. I'm the only one who stepped up, so that instigated the whole authoring of that rule. I guess I'll have to face that music and own up to any consequences that might come from redefining the whole genre. But yeah, that situation can't really get any worse. So I'll just break the whole thing down later when it's time. Coming up here, we're going to get 140 tickets and do a little small voiceover to go with it. So hope you enjoy. I'll pick it up right after.
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. I gotta stop. I gotta stop.
No, come on. Hey, this is the door. Walk through
No,
it.
I gotta stop. I really gotta stop.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay.
Okay, what's poppin', y'all? I think we'll get a relatively big gach in. Did a long boss kind of grind here. Let's see, this is like 8,000, 11,000, 15,000, 20,000 NX. Very fast. I know about the thing I've been saying where no boss hunting, it's bad manners, and all that. But this is too good. Too good to pass up. Too good to play nice. And oops, forgot to put those in my inventory. So that is what, a 140 gash ticket sesh? Oh shoot. Very nice. There we go. Now let's see. NLC is a better option, or a big option, because of those new monster galores. If we pop those, a lot of coins will come out of the box as bosses. We also need white scrolls. We have 2 more slots from this very lucky spear so far. Don't want to just jinx it just then, but we're gonna need white scrolls. now the time to do so? Well, give it a shot. So, oh yes, white scroll. Boom, baby. Kaboom. I rolled a d20 by the way, and it said channel 13 today. Sweet. Oh, another one? Another white scroll. That is what I'm talking about. We have a fairly high chance of getting another one. Oh shoot, that was an overall 10%. It's alright, I'll just leave it on the ground. Oh, that's it. Good run. Really good run. 2 white scrolls from that. So far be above our averages so far, although we did go on a massive dry spell before this 140 run. So, not gonna call it great luck just yet, but we'll keep these in storage. Once we get 10, I think we can attempt those for one of those last 2 slots left. I doubt we're gonna get that lucky again. But gotta stuff some stuff in inventory or storage here. And welcome back. So my method is to stay ahead of the 8 ball on bosses like Faust, Mushmoms, Dial, Timer, Eliza, Tavrune, Keen, Sage Cat, Headless Horseman, and saving the Bigfoots for last. And if I'm playing hard, I can take Monopoly on all of those 4 full respawn cycles, maybe 2 for Headless Horseman, and it's all about efficiency in my opinion. Sometimes you'll need to kill mobs to induce a mob spawn, or a boss spawn, and I'll pick off channels where people might have CC'd too fast or been in a rush. If I notice drops laying on the ground sequentially from say channels 15, 16 to 17, I'm going to look in the opposite direction to 14, 13, 12, so on if those maps look pristine. Otherwise I just kind of, go elsewhere. That's also why I pick up every drop during my searches if I'm intending to turn the heat up for other, hunters. If they're checking the spawn, they'll have nothing to go off of if the map appears to be untouched. They won't know where I've been, and I could have TP rocked to the next boss for all they know down my list. Keep them on their toes. Seconds matter. These people have timers very much on check. I'll even switch on to stoppers if it's a neck and neck scramble to killer in the next channel. And that's that. Not very interesting to spectate, I imagine, so I'm going to take this time to bring up some big changes in the new update. We got some new boss timers that have been lowered, which is a good thing all around. The blue Marshmallow card set took me like months to complete because I could never find it during that 23-hour window. Not so much with Crow because they're usually like seen as a nuisance to Hime grinders, and they'll like happily report channel locations to passerby. So those came fast. I also avoid Crow because it eats up pots and it's 8 minutes per kill at my strength, which is not efficient. Kind of like how I treat Bigfoot. Kachimusha is also huge because I will need to hunt them for samurai pieces for summoning the toad. And we might need to do multiple toads for sky skis if we want to try to go for like a 103 attack one or something. I was planning on needing to camp the entire map for a day like I did with Pianist, but it's too bad we didn't see any reduction in timers with that boss there, because getting rush 30 is going to be freaking hard. It's just so hard to find one up at any given time. And now the biggest part of this update is the Ninja Storm change they've done, the overhaul. First thoughts on this is it is freaking overpowered. Like this is, people say Landor is the last class and he's a buff, he's a nerf. But I'm very happy about this because I'm gonna need to test this at Alph. But if it works like I think it will, this is huge for pure Night Lord solos because it's the left seduce that always destroys me. If I can storm and keep Alph far left and position far right corner before each set starts triggering, then I think I can get by relying on Thief avoidability alone and Shifter for that orb missing me. So that's all for the rundown on things that have caught my eye for now. They touched on a few other features like fixing a couple bugs with Balrog PQ, VL, and PAP as well, but those things don't particularly pertain to my character at this point in time, I think, but those are cool. And oh yeah, Popularize has a 30-minute timer on it now, so this will probably be the last character I get to do like the ultra early PAP thing with. But pretty excited to go for a perfect 101 attack Prow Spear when I started unboxing those anniversary gifts, but then I got a pit in my stomach when I realized that if we were to be that lucky and get a perfect spear at 101 attack, it'd be better than our current Sky Skis by far by 2 attack. And up to 30 more accuracy because they have the 40 maximum. A lot more than our skis. I think it'll come into factor if I'm thinking about bosses like Shao, a Grandpa boss, or some other high avoidability mob. But pretty niche. I think we'll be fine with the skis, and I've already fully committed by now, so they gotta be good enough. If anything, this will open up the option to 30% the initial slot with no white scrolls on the Pyrope, if we, get a perfect one. fingers crossed. And then if it passes, then we can then think about 30 or 10% the rest of the way with white scrolls from there on. You know, we'll just have to keep our eye out for something insane like that, because a perfect spear could, you know, easily fetch 1.2 bill at auction, I bet. So that's the reason why these boxes are so huge, like I said. Just real quick, back to another voiceover for the initial 18 box opening we do, and afterwards we'll get right back into it with a rough itinerary on what's to come, I guess, as we work through the week 1 of the event. So thanks, I'll see you when we get back. Alrighty, let's see how worth it this boss grind actually is. I'm gonna open up these 12th anniversary boxes. I was trying to save a bigger stack just for like a more eventful opening, but we gotta open up now. I gotta see what's inside them. So 18 times, let's go. 1,000, pyro shooter. Battle axe, sword. Spear, pyro spear is very good. 95. Hey, that's not bad at all. Staff is not good. Half moon. I don't even know what the max stats on these are. Let's see. But how many boxes we got left? 8. 1,000. Pyro staff again. 1,000. Pyro spear. 88. That one's no good. Okay. Another pyro spear. 94 attack for this one. Alrighty, boxes opened, carry on. Just kidding, we didn't get the chaos or white scrolls we were looking for, so we'll just keep grinding out boxes. But here we land our first CS out of 20 boxes, give or take, so this inspires a couple of ideas. I'm really not looking forward to chaosing things, man. It's intrinsically high risk, but also necessary for us, and I already know the 60% pass rate is going to screw with us. It's done so to me before. Like, I rage scrolled some Red Sox before, and I think I went 3 for 7 on it. Luckily, the final result was positive by 6, but that coupled with like the Ironman curse scares me. Like, I don't know about this, man. Okay, so we gotta use this regardless, since the chaos sitting does us no good. But if we went face stompers, we would also need to gatch a Taro Totem, which is not ideal because I hate gatching for rare items. 50 steel plates would take a little bit, and we'll be grinding iron hooves to convert 101 into plates. FS just take a little too long when our cape and gloves are also unfinished. Same deal also goes for SCGs. We'll also need to get a totem for that. Subani Ankh and Telian Relic, which we have, and 2 Pyre Crystals. Just not the totem. And they both take a while to make, and it's cooked if we get a big minus first slot. And I'm only considering White Scroll and Chaos beyond the first slot because a -5 on top of eating up the White Scroll would just be a complete disaster. That's totally avoidable. Simpler story for the cape. We just have to wait for a Taro cape to CS or use our existing one over PGC just on the prayer that a double, +5 strength or weapon attack roll comes. I'm iffy about chaosing our 2 attack Taro because, -3, 4, or 5, and it's cooked. But for the purposes of Ironman, we're just going to be going for the event scarf because that's a time-sensitive item. And if we fail to chaos at least, I would say +3 for weapon attack. We're going to have to wait until next year and try again. And we can just chaos other gears anytime we want. Just that one slot or all or nothing. Just got to find the CS because it's definitely also a possibility we get unlucky and don't see another one this entire event. So that makes me consider making a switch from NLC to Shrine just in case, box payout is low in the end once we start stacking them up. The other time-sensitive item I most overlooked are the event earrings. They got +2 all stat with 15 accuracy, which is what makes me kind of care. Because we're going to farm some earring strength 60s from Oblivion Guardians and strength 70s from Ancient Fairies later on for, part 2 of Scrolling. We're going to do a Chaos attempt and do some Spear 10s in part 1. Overall, I think we came out ahead in the end. For the second time, I would say. Truly a victory. So we can talk Bigfoots real quick. I started adding Bigfoots as the anchor in my boss rotation once I've 100% confirmed all the HAs are cleared in the 6-hour cycle. I'm able to pin Bigfoots indefinitely now with a boosted normal speed spear since each attack happens just as the iframes are wearing off. Although it is kind of finicky at times because the KB rhythm changes whenever it doubles up on a specific animation. That'll cause a whiff, derail my rhythm, and I'll have to reset the pin. So I've learned to pause half a second for that second repeat animation to finish before resuming attacks. Kind of hard to explain, but it's about a 10-minute clear on warrior elixirs. and they eat up a lot of time in large quantities. I could hunt an entire forest on a geyser in the amount of time it takes me for 2 Bigfoots. Hence why I save them for the last if they're still alive at the end. And right here are 2 of the more eventful forest encounters I've had as of late. I became really nervous when a Chief Bandit came into the map because I had to exit out to swap over to Imp gear because I was getting hit too much. Min-maxing that MP, I guess. But in reality, he was really chill and we just got lucky with who we met that day. Next, we kind of raced a Night Lord, but I didn't end up using stoppers like I thought. It must have been a different thief that got buried in the hundreds of hours of bossing footage because I know I made the call to cancel my geyser with stoppers during that time. But anywho, I've cut out a ton of fat this episode. Went back and, to take a look at it, and it's actually just 5 days of pure area boss hunting. Nothing particularly stood out to me, so maybe kind of reach in there with those 2 stories. Just dragging this out because the surrounding context behind the inception of the new Ironman rule and what it means for our character and this game challenge as a whole is a little bit of a touchy topic. Like I said, implication of emotional bias for anything that came out my mouth that particular day. But I've left a part of the original so you can get a taste for the immersion on what I was feeling in that heat of the moment. Just demoralizing as shit because that was before I had spoken out to any of the higher ups because of my presupposition that this is going to be a lose-lose situation. If I speak out to have someone write a rule change, an extreme one at that, and it actually passed, then I will be the asshole who instigated something that tarnished the Ironman brand once it became irreversible, enough time went by. And if it fails to pass, then we would have to start preparing to part ways with the official Ironman rulings, and then lose every bit of personal significance we kind of fought for in this character to that end. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I think the Ironman dogma we all play by is how you get there is more important than actually getting there. But yeah, after that HT fell through, I was at rock bottom. I was ready to leave. But then the unexpected happened and the rule actually passed 12-0. I suspect some who would have voted no opted to speak out and voice their thoughts in the discussion instead because it went like 10-0 almost immediately. Respect gained for the level of attention and depth they took with this, taking the time of day to consider a change that might appear far out judging from the cover. And I'll be making full utilization of this new rule. My Ironman plays the rules by literal. The original live commentary I'm referencing is still 2 days out from where we currently are in this video. So in the meantime, I'm going to break down what went down with the information I'm allowed to share, at least. I'm really not joking when I talk about rock bottom, because I was in mourning for this character. So we're going to fast forward a few days when I'm doing a little bit better. Here's how the change and how it's going to work is going to go down. So here we go. Alrighty, here I am. And it's been a few days since the rule change went into motion. This is just being an addendum to the vanilla HT rules, and the vote did pass, so this is active now. But just keep in mind, players who might want to keep their characters pristine can also just ignore this entirely and play accordingly to the original rule set if they were cool with it to begin with, since it was written kind of after the OG set of rules. But here's the original kind of prison we were confined to for reference. And I'll just be kind of paraphrasing the new rules that are written by the higher ups since I don't really want the trouble or any trouble to come from sharing stuff I'm not allowed to. So essentially number 1, the organizer must have attempted to host a run that week. 2, if the run fails to take place because of inadequate Ironman turnout, which would be the dead end that we've been running into, then the Ironman expedition may utilize a number of non-Ironman stand-ins to fulfill the required class composition. So if we were missing like DPS, SED, maybe some other role, SE, we can outsource to someone like that and ask if they want to come to help us. But in such cases, Clause A, the non-Ironman stand-ins, they're entitled to first looting priority for everything. That will be NX, HTPs, eggs, cards, weapons, etc. While the Ironman runners are only entitled claim for the skill books, and such skill books will be handled accordingly to the same rules of a standard Ironman HT. I'm not sure if if a bishop had Genesis 20, if we can loot doubles, or if that should go directly to the runner. I don't know yet. But number 3, in the case a run still fails to take place after that, if we can't even get it to go with stand-ins, then the organizer for that week may join a pickup group of regular HT. Clause B, the Ironman will limit themselves to single party for experience gain limitations. So they may not receive any buffs from non-Ironman. The Ironman may only provide buffs and should reform their solo party as soon as possible. Again, the Ironman is only entitled to the skill book that they need, which will be Zerk 30. I don't get anything else. All other boss splits and drops are forfeit by default on the Ironman. So a lot of us felt weird about this. It's kind of tailored to give players in my very specific situation an out. I'm not sure this will apply only to Dark Knights. since Berserk is quite literally the engine that, runs this class. As much as it equally sucks to some degree for other classes, I think they can at least continue to skate on by with a rank 20 primary skill, whereas it's arguable for Dark Knights, I think. But in the end, I did not decide to do extreme Zerking challenges because that's just another challenge genre entirely for Dark Knights wanting to test themselves, and they all also have Zerk 30. It's expected for those challenges. Besides, I'm not even that surgical with manual potting, so I'm not here to do that. I'm here to play Ironman and solo bosses. But I'll also be lying to you if I didn't say this feels odd also, in spite of this being the first time I can finally take a breath on the Ironman. Like I said, it's just, I thought it was a lose-lose situation to me. But the book is essentially guaranteed now, and any extra powers would just be a bonus for solos like Skarga or Shao. But the only thing left I'm truly looking forward to accomplishing here are Toad and a full solo clear of Neo Tokyo. That would probably be the first big task that I would genuinely be enthusiastic about, truly. Because I've said before, I'm a Neo Tokyo super fan. And farming White Scroll frags are always been a part of my plan for the prereqs to do those hard damage check bosses. I'm going to want our Spear +7 and Cape Glove Shoe in the mid-30s total before making any attempts, I think. It's a damage ratio 30-minute and 10-minute timers respectively. We're not going to be ripping through 300 mil and 100 mil HP in those races anytime soon where we're at. Because Targa's hitbox moves with him when it spams the Fury swipe attack forward, and that's a big concern for me since it causes me to whiff a lot even on a ranged class like Night Lord. Top with the cancel weapon attacks, it'll be very tight, I think. Because we're not going to have SI or SE or anything else, so it's better to just be over-geared rather than under and risk burning a bunch of jelts. That would be a disaster. It's honestly more like a 15-minute time without, crash. And the story for Shao is that if I keep the clones controlled and split them, I think it's simply a 100 mil and 10-minute damage check. I think if we do a little measuring stick at Krex, if we can down the eye in 20 minutes flat on a Jelt, then I think we have a very good shot at both of these, but we'll have to see. Well, that's the breaking news out of the way. Just feels good to have that off my chest because those were probably the most emotionally charged days on this Ironman. I've never been so off balance and just conflicted internally for continuing to do something like this in the entire just lifespan of this Ironman. But just, being on that verge of quitting, on the edge of that is just heavy, self-inflicted burden to play with. Very little fun to be at there, and I've had enough. The boss crimes we've been brute forcing out of frustration were not helpful for us psychologically. HT falling through after so long, trying again, still failed. Having the nail biting discussion, going through that voting process and waiting, had me on the edge of my seat. But in the end, the outcome we wanted came, so now I think I can tone it down a lot during this event. Screw the extra CGS, I think we're good enough to do something we want to do, actually, and prepare to showcase the Toad and as many NT solos in the reasonable amount of time. Probably going to take my time with the next video, not to make it like machinima quality or anything, but just to add a level of refinement above all the previous videos, just to kind of reflect how much I enjoy the Neo Tokyo bossing experience, do it justice. Next video very well could be the true finale for this spin-off series, unless something unexpected were to happen and I just, get stuck at a boss that hems us up, or it takes some bullshit, like 50 more HTs to see one Zerk 30. It's totally possible. This character is cursed in every way. Coming up in the final portion, we're going to have a pre-scrolling voiceover that's going to reflect my psyche in that moment, like I mentioned earlier. Kind of intending for it to have immersion and storytelling effect while I was in the state of despair, slowly digesting what had just happened with HT that day. But just gonna backtrack slightly, we got an indecipherable book dropped during the Junior Balrog runbacks. Kind of unexpected, it's a valuable book. Thought I'd try something sneaky and see if Captain Britannica spawns coins upon death, which it doesn't. Thought it was worth a shot, but the devs are pretty smart. Guess they thought 2 steps ahead of me on that one. And thought I'd just show portions of the Earring Strength scroll grinds. Broken up over 3 separate segments, but there's nothing more to be seen there. Finally unearthed the clip where I switched over to stoppers at HH. And there's that entire sequence because 99% of the footage is just an identical loop and kind of unusable, honestly, more than once. I'm just really reaching on anything that seems remotely interesting, so timestamps are going to be your friend this episode. Anywho, also decided against showing Tree and Pink being PQ because that content doesn't really merit a showcase on an Ironman video, I think. Minus boss footage, all I've got left are some unhinged scrolling commentaries here this time around. I should have just walked away from the game that day for a week, but I didn't. Should have. So you'll see me doing some really weird stuff like rolling d20s to decide my decisions. Have a dummy scrolling relapse and I just, start going to binge with those. Started timing the scrolls in sync with various Dodger Stadium fanfares and I shot a whole lot. So yeah, definitely iffy on the execution there when I was going back to review it. It's one take, no redos for scrolling stuff, so I'm sorry if you find it annoying or something. Remaining gas runs are all bricks, so we're close to 400 tickets dry at this point. Just great. And thank you for watching if you're still up to this point. Hope you enjoy the scrolling. Alrighty, what's up everybody? Just doing a quick check-in here. Little rundown for the event. is now that I found out that these PQs are legal, 3 PQ with the Pink Bean Feast, yeah, it's no brainer. Once we get this medal and the drop coupon, this is gonna totally just make us overpowered. Because we've been farming boxes like non-stop. I think we're on number 57, 1 chaos so far. I believe we're gonna use it on our scarf. Because we have a lot of tokens. If we mess this up, we can just buy another one, which is very likely. There's 11 outcomes, and you know, I think 46% of them, most of them are gonna be, you know, gonna reduce to 0 attack. So it's definitely an uphill battle, and you have to get the chaos to pass in the first place. It's like a 60% scroll too. It's just fail. I don't get these boxes. They're kind of hard, even if you do know the odds. I think it's 1 out of 100 to get a chaos. Just to how to get it. I got like 3 of us got ours. 3 of us got chaoses within the first 20 boxes, and then it's been dry ever since. So hard to predict, but anyways. It's time to roll the dice. Time to roll the dice. Channel 14. Alrighty. And I don't think we have enough NX to Gach, so scratched idea. Ooh, got an overall 100 by the way from the last cake. I don't know if it's good, but here we go. First chaos. Well, second, I guess. We didn't technically do our first, drop the first chaos on this character. But this is the second one. So here we go. This could be huge. +6 of weapon attack. Strength or dex. Those are kind of important. I don't want them to go, you know, to 0 or anything. And anything that plus magic attack would just be a slap in the face, and that would tilt me. But it's fine. I'm in a kind of position where I can be tilted. I'm dilly-dallying. Let's drop the chaos. Let's go. Hype it up. Let's go. Oh, fuck! What the fuck? Cut the music. Oh my god, dude. I'm just banging my head against the wall right now. Holy shit. Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. I can't believe that happened. Gotta buy another scarf. That's what we got those coins for, I guess. Fucking game. Fucking game. I'm dropping this. I can't even look at it anymore. Piece of shit. I'm in shock. And I dummied those 10% like a dumb fuck. Like if I just scrolled normally, this would have been done already. If the 10% actually passed, if I, you know, they're the same. Holy crap. Stupid D20 failed us. You know what? I'm a little bit tilted right now, so let's try to scroll our spear. Got 4 white scrolls. 2 slots. It'd have to be a miracle for one to go through. Storage keeper's right. That sucked the air out of me. Hold up. I might want to dummy some 10% first before we go for real. Do you have any gloves I can dummy? Give me a sec. Staff. Oh shoot, I missed the gold leaf. Whoopsie. Let's dummy some gloves for attack. White scrolls are still in storage, yes. Okay. I'm gonna dummy 2 10%. I know this is ridiculously stupid, but it's just a force of habit. Two fails. I bet one more's gonna fail, so we'll just do this. Awesome. You know what? I think the next one will fail too. So we're gonna, next one I swear, we're gonna go on the spear. Perfect. Stick these back into storage. It's full, really. I guess I'll take these emeralds out. Okay, here we go. White scroll time. This is big. If we can get a nice power before Horntail, that would be perfect. So plus 5 skis. White scrolls are in the inventory. Number 1. Yo! Dummy scrolling works! Hell yeah! Sick. Oh my god, first try too. And you know what, we're gonna finish it off later on. Because I don't want to lose this kind of second wind I got from just possibly breaking the rest of these 3. So we'll just get a couple more stacks of that. A little more to the stack. Finish up the spear, hopefully. And then I hope that our RNG turns around throughout this event, because you know, honestly, I'm expecting a little more out of this for the amount of time I'm investing into it. So yeah, I will catch you all soon. So thank you. Well, what's poppin', y'all? I believe we're gonna go finish up this spear attempt too. So it's been 3 10% dummies so far since the last pass. I think we'll dummy a couple more. Dummy the staff. So this will be for number 4. Quattro dummy scroll. Please fail. Excellent. So 4 fails in a row. Let's do 2 more. Okay, armor. So overall and shoe. Overall. No shoes, really. I guess we have to go to Nath if we want to do a shoe. But what's a top? A little slow moment there. This is an overall. So 5th dummy scroll. God damn it. We're gonna have to keep dummying. What is this luck? This is like a little bit too lucky. Like a 10% every 5 scrolls. That's outrageous. I feel so dumb right now. Maybe we can find a glove somewhere. Find a glove. I don't think they sell them. Oh. Just a little silly there. I'll be right back. Okay, back now. Just had to transfer over some 10% scrolls out of storage. Got some claw. 10% to mess around with. So 7. I'm gonna bomb all 7 of these. Pretty bad Pyroscanda. What the hell is this, dude? Back-to-back 10% passes. So let's just dummy 5. Dude, I swear to God. If the odds continue to be like really weird for 10%, then I truly am just lost. If we had just gone for the spear, it would have been done already. One more 10% and then we'll go to the spear. I think that'll be a good plan. So 3 white scrolls. and we pick a channel to scroll on. D20 time. Channel 1. I don't like that channel. Channel 8. Okay. So what was it, 5 in a row? I'm gonna just dummy scroll one more time. One more dummy scroll on this Glovint. Please don't come, please. Oh, I was so close. I have to white scroll my inventory. Okay, that was close. One more dummy. Fail. Good. Okay. Get these white scrolls out. We got 3 attempts. It's been 6 in a row. We got extremely lucky with the 10% lately, so I think our chances have gone down. Because this game has got a track with fail stacking somehow. I just feel like that's the case. 3 white scrolls, 40 spirit attack, 10%. 3 shots at this. Let's go. Number 1. Alright, no problem. Number 2. Okay, no problem. Number 3. Last one. Okay. No problem. We'll just try to get some more white scrolls. I'm gonna toss these out. I'm not done with scrolling anymore. That was kind of stupid, really. Because I feel like if it was an identical kind of pattern, that 10% we just passed should have worked, and then we'd be done with our spear. That's okay. We'll just keep getting white scrolls, and not gonna dummy scroll, and then we're just gonna scroll normally to finish off our spear. Hopefully the process isn't bad. So that'll be the plan. So thank you. Hey yo, just gonna hop in real quick here again. Hope you enjoyed the weird ass scrolling and textbook example on why it's a bad idea to gamble on tilt, I guess. But it could have been a lot worse. That spear 10 kind of saved our mental and also shot us in the foot at the same time because it validated my superstitions, which are bogus, and we got what was coming after that. Actually managed to find a right-sided pianist and miss on rushing yet again, so it's like the 10th right pianist or whatever without a rush 30, so just a luxury item. Rush 20 will get the job done since rubber banding character momentum into bosses achieves kind of like a similar push distance. Coming up here is the event earring scrolling session. I'm not going to mince words here because it is pretty much a 10-minute tirade. Pre-scrolling where I just vent my frustrations outward, though I do speak pragmatically, try to leave emotion out of what I'm saying, but you know, kind of important context whether it's, you know, pretty to hear or ugly to hear. It's just kind of there as a part of the story. Afterwards, you know, what happened now repaired my determination to continue with the mainstream Ironman way permanently if the rule holds up and doesn't get redacted prior to us obtaining Zerk 30. And here we go, last thing we'll be doing. If you have any thoughts or takes on this new rule, definitely feel welcome to use this as a platform to voice them. And I'll admit I am a little bit curious on what you all think about this. Was this a weak move, you think, or courageous standing up for some change I believe in? I don't know, I'll defer to you as the judge. But hope you enjoy the commentary, and we'll do the recap next. I'll see you then. Okay, so here are some earring 70s for strength that we farmed from those fairies, the ancient fairies. And got a handful of 60 earring strengths as well from those Oblivion Guardians, and that'll be for the event earring. It's quite good. I didn't overlook it or anything, it was just at a lower priority because I wanted to get the more, I guess, uncertain stuff out the way. So just in case I'm just making a switch now, in case, you know, the Chaos Scroll goes poorly, we never end up with a successful event necklace. So just go the safer route. I think it's a little bit more likely that we'll, you know, get some high successes on a earring, and this is something we need because of that accuracy. Plus the, you know, the 2 all stat base. Comparable to an EP, I think. Even though I will be farming for that later if I ever get there. If the rules allow for it. So we're gonna go like maybe 3 70s and then 2 60s. Go a little riskier ratio because if one fails, it's gonna just it would just diminish the overall, I guess, power of the earring from just one fail. So I would rather just kind of rely on the trending 70% successes we have at times before, based on the patterns, versus just risking it all in 60s, because we are known to fail those in strings. And you know, I would like to not spend too many coins re-rolling on earrings for fails, so let's go and do it. But just a tangent onto another main topic is the Ironman horntail situation. Until you get there, not giving up. With this, I'm grinding boss signups on Discord 1 week in advance, and then I guess the sign up that the grind has failed is when the run fails. You know, the run doesn't take place. So I'm here to grind content and not grind boss signups and this bullshit. You know, it'd be different if I could actually take part and have a shot at rolling for the book and playing the game. Because at this point, it's just CGS powering up CGS to compensate for Toad, the DPM required there, and Berserk 20. So that's all I got to say there. We'll go to scrolling now. So sorry for the long-winded talk, but thank you. See you. Or the necklace, the bandana necklace to the earring. Simply because it's cheaper. It's a little bit less demanding with the chaos, because we can probably make more attempts more quickly. At least try to secure one event item in case we never successfully chaos the scarf. At least we can have the earring to account for. Definitely a room of improvement because our earring sucks right now. So plan is 370s, 260s. Because if 360s or something fail in a row, it's just like not even worth it at that point. So let's go and do it. Get our earring. I don't give a fuck about this channel, so I'm not going to roll the dice. Doesn't matter, you know, our luck has been just dog shit lately when we try to roll the dice. So let's go and make our earring attempt here. Started with 370s, not much of a thinking on the first slot, but before you do that, I gotta charge up. Let's charge. Charge! Motherfucker! Okay. Let's try that again. Charge! 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 Oh, yes, 2 more slots. Let's go. Charge! 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 Last slot. Charge! Charge! Haha, yes! Alright. Morale was at an all-time low. Picked me up slightly. Picked me up slightly. Back to the grind. I'll update you in a couple days when I hear back. If it's not what I want to hear, we're gone. But I'm an Ironman, like through and through I am. And I'm gonna have everything filmed from here on out, even if I do decide to, you know, branch into my own separate thing, which is just the one exception rule. I think it's totally fair. This game mode is failing. It is. It's not a bad thing that it is. It just is. So I'm not gonna be a part of something that's crumbling around me. I want to actually enjoy, because I'm trying to play here, and I'm not trying to just wait around for, you know, no reason. You know, for no reason. I'm just waiting around for something that won't even happen. I as negative as it sounds, you know. So that's the situation there. I'll catch you in a little bit. Thank you. Sorry for the non-PG talk, by the way. So hopefully that didn't offend anybody. But just objective facts and some slight opinions mixed in there. There's validity where I'm coming from. Okay, time to close this one out. Big thank you and congrats to the devs once again. Appreciate you if you're still watching, because it was a lot more talking than usual this time around, in case you're not used to that. But I felt like I infused a fair amount of substance throughout the whole thing. But just, yeah, picking back off that note, next video might be the second to last one before the finale, because all I care about right now are the Neo Tokyo solos. Nothing else really matters to me. I'm gonna make sure I polish that video up real nice, or try to, because I wanted to outshine every video that preceded it to kind of do Neo Tokyo justice. And it also depends on the process of getting and passing Berserk 30, how that goes, because that could take a long time if the RNG is really bad. And oh, I already know the Dundas V1 strategy. I'm gonna Honster to maintain 14k HP and have auto HP at 25%. I think that should allow me to attack through DR and take 15k hits. But, you know, one careful sacrifice outside of DR if I happen to overheal at some point. But yeah, I'm not going to get too far ahead just yet. HT will happen this week because it's in our control now. Feels good to be tilt-free at long last. That one rule made all the difference, because one instance just changed the course of events. I guess we're kind of an expert in a way, since the pendulum is swinging the opposite direction, which is a good thing. We're in the perfect position to go off on a hot streak at Neo Tokyo. And if I had to choose between saving Victoria Island or Neo Tokyo, like one going away forever, I'm going to pick Neo Tokyo all day, every day of the week. So hope you're as excited as I am to reach that area. Appreciate you being here once again, and hope you take care in the meantime. I will catch you in the next one.